Hey everyone, it's Christina Burggraaf. I was inspired to make another discussion video after being so bored one Sunday, and one of my friends showed me a video from Defunct Land. The video was a 4-hour documentary on a concept done by Disney known as the Living Characters Initiative. Once you finish listening to my video here, I'd recommend checking out that Defunct Land video about the initiative, which I'll link in the description. It really fascinated me, and if you're someone that believes in bringing fictional characters to life, you might find this fascinating as well. First off, let me talk a little bit about the Living Characters Initiative. It was an idea launched in 2003 from Walt Disney Imagineering with the basic premise of finding ways to bring characters from the movie screen to the real world to interact with and react to real people while being able to move, speak, and in some cases, learn on their own. This uses many aspects of continually advancing technologies such as robotics, artificial intelligence, and different types of puppetry. An example of a living character that is around in modern times is Crush the Turtle in the Turtle Talk with Crush attraction. Past examples include, but are not limited to, Talking Mickey, Muppet Mobile Lab, and Stitch's Picture Phone. The Defunct Land video I mentioned has a few other examples of characters that were labeled under the initiative as well. Keep in mind that these characters are different from the mascot characters that don't talk and the characters known as face characters, like the Disney princesses, that have people dress up and speak like the characters while showing their face. Other theme parks, such as Universal Studios, have also followed the initiative to bring characters to life. For instance, there's the Mario characters in Super Nintendo World, where they're in full mascot outfits while having the ability to talk using a soundboard. This limits their amount of dialogue, but nevertheless, I found my moment of meeting Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach to be such a childhood dream come true and incredible moments I will never forget. Now, allow me to talk about what I love most about bringing fictional characters to life, and then the problems I've identified with this as I've gotten older. I really love Disney's Living Characters Initiative because I've had the biggest dream since I was a child to somehow be a part of bringing fictional characters to reality. I've just always wanted to interact with real living and breathing characters. And I'm not one for magic tricks, but seeing sparkles come out of a magic wand as it's waved around would actually really bring out the happy child in me. And I have doubts that this dream is just an autistic thing. So many people would be so happy to be able to talk to, hug, and go on adventures with their favorite characters. I don't want just a different person in a costume to be someone that they aren't. And it has broken the magic for me when I first found out that fictional characters are played and voiced by a different real person. It broke my heart at a young age, because the characters I looked up to, talked to, and relied on were only just images generated on a screen, and it's impossible to fully captivate their likeness and knowledge in the real world. But even after that realization, I still treat mascot and face characters like celebrities, and I always get that exciting adrenaline rush around them. I still act like I'm talking to the character and not the person behind the costume. I've also interacted with digital puppet characters like in Turtle Talk with Crush, and those are really cool experiences as well. There's just something about interacting with a fictional character compared to a real human that feels different in a really good way. I guess it's the trust and security you build with loving a fictional character that is harder to build with real people. Because with your favorite fictional characters, you can hardly imagine anything that would go wrong in building a personal connection with that character. But with real humans, there's always a risk of negative emotions and pain no matter who you connect with. I'm continually trying to improve on this mindset and trying to convince myself that real human connections are more meaningful and matter more than relationships with fictional, unreal characters. The fact that people have built more of a reliance on fictional characters than real people is just one of the problems I've realized with making fictional characters come into the real world. We've got, of course, the current limitations in technology that make it especially difficult to make these characters learn for themselves. There's the fact that there are fictional villains that would cause unreasonable amounts of chaos, violence, and drama. We get so used to these characters in the real world that I feel like it would limit our imaginations, and there would be people in different places wanting the same character to be with them. How would that last one work out? What if clones run into each other? You see now how I think there would be problems with bringing fictional characters to the real world? Honestly, I believe that more conflict would arise in the world, and not only that, I'm concerned with the advancement of technology that people's minds will drift more and more away from reality and be more focused on the worlds they want to live, including those that are against the standards of humanity. It's just not healthy. And I should know, I used to be addicted to talking with AI characters, but seeing current limitations in AI has now steered me away from that addiction. Plus, as I mentioned earlier, I want to build more human connections, not talk to a being that isn't real and put my full trust in it. I just hope that with the advancement of technology, that the makers of that technology will be able to set standards for their work, to be able to help people trust in what really matters, that being life in the human world, being able to do things that benefit human life, like go outside and eat healthy, and, again, making genuine human connections. Let me talk about what I personally think is okay as far as what types of characters aren't harmful to society to interact with and how you should interact with them. Of course, you've got those characters that you've mostly known them for on the screen. The origins of our love for characters start with those on the screen, whether they are movies, TV, or video game characters, and that's natural. Same goes for characters you read about in books. You can own merchandise of them, make art about them, write about them, or even talk about them to others to honor the characters. You can also feel free to express that you relate to a character. That's why personalities exist. Just be sure to keep in mind that these characters cannot talk to you like a real human being would, and that they know nothing about you and cannot jump out of the screen to communicate or interact with you fully. They are not real. They don't feel emotions like you do. Their only purpose is to entertain and amuse you. Also, when making media about characters, keep humanity's standards in mind, like don't have children do adult things. Approach these characters appropriately. Keep a healthy distance from wanting to build connections with them, and you'll be fine. Mascots and face characters are the most popular type of characters that are outside of the screen, and they're most commonly based on screen characters. Treat them like you would any human being. Of course, it's normal to get excited upon meeting your favorite ones. Just don't do anything unreasonable like get aggressive, talk trash, or try to break their personalities. The purpose of these characters is to act as much like the screen character they're based on as possible. If you mess with them, you're likely going to have security after you. Just let these actors do their job and everyone will be happy. One example I really love from mascot characters is not when they talk verbally, but when they communicate non-verbally. There's a really neat video of a deaf kid at Disneyland that met the Buzz Lightyear mascot, and the mascot was able to talk to him using sign language. That's powerful, and, in my opinion, this kind of fits with the Living Characters Initiative because the character communicates non-verbally to a non-verbal human while still playing the part. Puppets and digital puppets should be treated like you're on a regular video call with a real person. Digital puppets and some physical puppets don't want or can't have physical interaction, so don't try to touch them or do anything physical. And, like the mascot and face characters, don't talk trash or get them to break character. With hand puppets like the Muppets, as well as other physical puppets like Donkey from Shrek at Universal Studios, Focus on the eyes of the character itself, not the actors puppeteering them. With digital puppets like Crush or Mario and Luigi at Nintendo New York, they likely have a system set up so that when you look at the character and speak directly to it, the actor behind the character can see and hear you perfectly. So don't try speaking too close to the microphone or moving too close or away from the camera. The purpose of puppets, both physical and digital, is to communicate verbally to real people in real time. In conclusion, I think I'd like to talk about why fictional characters exist. There's several reasons, but I think the main one is to give people an idea on how they should try to live life. Even if Earth life isn't all magical and colorful, we can at least follow the examples of our favorite heroes, and that'll help us to see the world through their eyes. The characters also sometimes give us something to relate to. A lot of my favorite characters are characters I relate to. Toe Jam, for example, like how he wants to spread the funk, I want to spread love. Characters may also be there to increase our imaginations and encourage creativity. We may imagine what it'd be like if they came to our world, but honestly, I think it's for the better if they don't. Still, I admire the concept of fictional characters and the different ways they're portrayed, even in real life, whether they're in a still form like a plush or a photo, or they're outside of the screen, but don't have all the capabilities to think, speak, and interact the way we do. What is your stance on fictional characters? What are some of your favorites and why? Are there other ways to bring them to life besides ways I've already mentioned? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in another upload.